What's up, guys? Let's go. Are you guys ready? Please type in the comment section if you could hear me. Let's go. Yeah. Who's expecting some real big candles on this? I wish I could have the camera to be showing, but you know, a voice is good enough for now. Man, we were on that 1 hour chart. We were about to cross the gold. We were about to get a golden cross. So this could be something big, guys, for tomorrow. Setting up, man. Who's really pumped? Like like pumped for this. Well, I I agree with you, Dinette. Same here. I don't expect big things because of the previous earning reports, but guess what? There, like I remember that June run up when we were leading up to that, and I like it went crazy for me on option calls at that time. Um, right before we had that golden cross at that time as well, things went crazy in May, like toward the end of May. And we have the same, pretty much the same setup. The reason why I'm even more bullish now is because we have regulations going in also around the same time. Everybody's pushing for this war, inflation, lack of money for all the bad people. The last thing that we need to question is the FTDs. We need the FTDs to be uh, answered by, or somebody's got to say something about those things from the SEC. We need the SEC to do something about that. When everybody needs to hashtag the SEC, like, hey, you got transparency. How about we be a little more transparent about the FTDs and get them to go in it and cover those things? Freedom, margin calls to the moon. I agree. No, screw that. To Mars. uh, Come on. This earnings is a couple minutes late. Looks like it. Go ahead, guys. Type in what are your exit strategies in this, or at least number for this stock, and we could go on to other stocks that we're talking about while the call is still in play. So, Dinette, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I literally wanted to do this uh, like over. Oh, hold on, Jason. You said this started. What? Hold on, let me reload this. Hmm. Who's speaking right now, Jason? Okay. Okay, it's starting right now on mine. Can you guys hear it also? Okay, it is starting right now for me, Jason. Tell me, can you hear the call, the lady speaking in the background? Okay, I hear them. One second. I hear them loud and clear. Trying to get you guys to listen to it. Hang on tight. He's still addressing it. Who's here and all that. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Can you guys hear it now?
The fourth quarter of 2021 saw AMC putting up on the board significant milestones of progress, sending a crystal clear message to one and all that AMC
Okay.
is moving
Can you guys
well
also hear me too?
along the path to recovery. For the first time in the 2 years since COVID-19 descended upon us all
Perfect.
in early 2020, in the fourth quarter of 2021,
Let's see, Mr.
AMC
Adam. Let's do
achieved
this. Yeah.
positive EBITDA.
The net.
and we generated positive
Dab on
operating
him.
cash flow. And this is not a situation where we only narrowly achieved these important markers.
Yes.
Our positive EBITDA in the quarter was almost $160 million, up a breathtaking $487 million
Ooh.
over the fourth quarter of a year ago. This led to non-GAAP operating cash generated of more than $220 million in the just completed quarter. In addition, we ended the year with a record-setting year-end liquidity
Let me
of
hear it.
approximately $1.8 billion,
Wow.
enough to provide AMC with more security in case the return to normal box office levels takes longer than some might expect. And importantly, it also gives us the flexibility to go on the offensive as we work to create the AMC of the future. 2021 was another year of sequential and continuous recovery and improvement. As was the case after COVID forced the closure of all of our theaters in March of 2020, the industry and especially AMC box office grosses improved each and every quarter of 2020
Nice.
and each and every quarter of 2021 as
Very
theaters
good.
reopened, as the number of released film titles increased, as the overall film slate became more varied and appealing, and especially throughout 2021 as COVID vaccination counts soared. With the industry and AMC's box office growing each quarter, so too our financial results at AMC improved each quarter as well. As I look at the recently completed fourth quarter, I'm especially pleased that we hosted roughly 60 million guests at our theaters in the U.S., Europe, and the Middle East.
Okay.
60 million people enjoyed watching a movie at AMC in Q4.
I'm originally from the Middle East, guys.
Million people. I am similarly pleased that our average total revenues per patron at AMC in the quarter were $19.63, some 25.5% higher than the same statistic in our pre-pandemic Q4 of 2019. It's our understanding that this is considerably higher than that of any other major theater operator.
Yep.
None of this is accidental. We worked our tails off to get people back in theaters, and our job is not yet done.
We did too.
We are not yet where we want or where we need to be. That will continue to take time, and it will continue to take sustained and imaginative effort on our part. But even so, you can see and you can taste and you can feel it.
Oh, I can feel
AMC
it.
seems to be on a positive glide path to recovery. There is so much conventional wisdom floating around that movie theaters cannot coexist and cannot thrive in a world of streaming.
Excuse me.
What a load of cow dung. There. I cleaned that up nicely. What a load of cow dung. In a world where the consumer's appetite for content is so voracious that it seems to be sufficient to let us all prosper, it's our view at AMC that movie theaters, and especially our company as the leader in the movie theater industry, have a very bright future. The problem with conventional wisdom is that conventional wisdom is so often just utterly wrong. Remember the breathless reporting that AMC would file for bankruptcy in 2020. Wrong. Remember that otherwise highly respected experts were calling for the AMC share price to fall to $2, $1, or even a penny by February or March of 2022. Now, for all the lawyers listening in, I'm making no prognosis for the future. I'm looking only retrospectively. But those experts gravely underestimated AMC. And with the full benefit of hindsight, we can now happily say, because now it's a simple matter of fact. They were wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong. Reflect on the remarkable success of Sony's Spider-Man No Way Home, currently the third highest grossing movie of all time. Think about that for a moment. The third highest grossing movie ever, and even though it was released at a time when people were battling Omicron fears, no less.
Yep.
But it wasn't just Spider-Man. Venom, Bond, Eternals, Ghostbusters. They were all part of the highest North American box office that we've seen in 2 full years, at more than $2.1 billion in the quarter. And that was more than 50% higher than the industry box office just 1 quarter earlier in Q3 of 2021. Looking to 2022, the 2022 film slate is expected to be significantly stronger than 2021's, with Warner's The Batman opening later this week, for which advanced bookings are very strong. The second quarter slate also includes Marvel's Doctor Strange, Universal's Jurassic World Dominion,
Batman.
Paramount and Tom Cruise are blessing us with the long-awaited Top Gun Maverick. And then there's Pixar's Lightyear. Later in the year, we have titles such as Minions, The Rise of Gru, Thor, Love and Thunder, and I fully expect Disney literally to dazzle us, both with Marvel's Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and James Cameron's Avatar 2, the sequel to, in inflation-adjusted dollars, the single highest grossing movie of all time. Couple great films with much of the industry coalescing around an exclusive 45-day theatrical window in the United States. That is infinitely better for AMC than when the movie industry flirted with day-and-date simultaneous release of films, theaters, and the home experimentation in 2021. As we look forward to the full calendar year of 2022, and reckoning that no one is a perfect crystal ball, but we think that the overall domestic industry box office, which is a good placeholder for the size of our industry, both here in the United States and abroad, could be nearly double that of 2021. And that makes us at AMC bullish about our continued progress. Two notes of caution.
The stock was
Stating
to
the obvious,
break out.
inflationary cost pressures, labor shortages, and potential supply chain disruptions continue to exist. And if you watch the news, you are well aware, sadly, that there is a war in full bloom on the continent of Europe. These challenges all will need to be carefully managed. Additionally, a year ago, we spoke to you about a sequentially improving year in 2021, with each quarter expected to be better than the previous one, and that is exactly how 2021 turned out. Merely because of the timing of big movie releases in 2022, we expect that 2022 could follow a similar path, with the first quarter being the low point of the year and meaningful sequential improvement being achieved as the year progresses. In short, our expectations are for a Q1 that is well above 2021 Q1 levels, but nonetheless, it will be a relatively weaker Q1 coupled with a strong and reassuring full year performance for all of 2022. As you look at AMC, know that we remain focused on recovery and transformation. We remain focused on innovation and managing through change. We are determined to continue with bold and dazzling marketing initiatives, all the while maintaining our disciplined cost controls, as well as cash conservation and potentially cash-raising strategies. I'll be back in a few minutes to provide some updates on specific key advances for AMC and to take your questions. But right now, I'll turn the call over to our Chief Financial Officer, Sean Goodman. Sean?
Thanks, Adam, and thank you to everyone for joining us on the webcast this afternoon. The fourth quarter represented a very important landmark along our path of recovery. The 60 million guests that we welcomed to our theaters around the world during the fourth quarter resulted in consolidated revenue of $1.17 billion. That's up 53% from Q3 of 2021, and it's more than 7 times the $162.5 million of revenue we had in Q4 of 2020. This resulted in 2 very important accomplishments during the fourth quarter. First, we generated positive adjusted EBITDA for the first time in 2 long years of $159.2 million. This represents a $164.6 million improvement over Q3 2021's EBITDA loss of $5.4 million and a $486.7 million improvement over last year's fourth quarter EBITDA loss of $327.5 million. This positive EBITDA was achieved in both Europe at $61.3 million and the US at $97.9 million. And second, we achieved positive operating cash generated, a non-GAAP measure, of $224.4 million. This represents average operating cash generated of approximately $75 million per month during the fourth quarter. And this compares to an average operating cash burn of approximately $75 million per month during the first half of 2021. The fourth quarter proved to be a very good illustration of the working capital dynamics of our business, where growth in the business is also accompanied by working capital benefits. Note that operating cash generated and operating cash burn, these are measures meant to represent total cash flow before debt servicing costs and before deferred rent payments. A GAAP reconciliation table is included in today's earnings release. The strong results in Q4 were driven by consolidated revenue per patron of $19.63. This is 25.5% higher than
Nice.
Q4 of 2019, and a resulting solid contribution dollars per patron of $13.44. This is 32% higher than Q4 of 2019. Note that I'm defining contribution dollars per patron as total revenue less film exhibition costs and food and beverage costs on a per patron basis. This tremendous growth in both revenue and contribution dollars per patron was across both our domestic and our international markets and reflects strength in average ticket prices, food and beverage spend, and other revenue per patron. The strength in average ticket price has been helped by a high utilization of our premium large format offerings, such as IMAX and Dolby Cinema. This reflects our guests increasingly wishing to experience going to the movies as a special immersive event, and thus they are more and more selecting to upgrade to the best possible sight and sound experiences available. The percentage attendance at premium formats was 17% in Q4 2021 compared to 12% in Q4 2019. In addition, relative to 2019, we benefited from a favorable showtime mix with a higher percentage of evening and weekend shows, coupled with pricing adjustments that we were able to take during the course of 2021. From a food and beverage perspective, throughout the year, we have enjoyed exceptionally strong food and beverage revenue per patron, as our guests chose to enjoy the full outside-the-home entertainment experience offered at AMC. Overall, our consolidated food and beverage spend per person in the fourth quarter was $6.37. This is 35% higher than the spend in Q4 of 2019. Our significant outperformance in this area compared to 2019 continues to be primarily driven by an increase in the proportion of guests choosing to enjoy our industry-leading food and beverage offerings, made easy and convenient to purchase through our app that allows one to order food and beverage when purchasing tickets in advance of arriving at the theater. Our total other revenue in Q4 2021 decreased by only 6%. So decreased by only 6% compared to the same period in 2019. This despite a 36% decrease in the number of guests served. Other revenue primarily represents fees associated with online ticket purchases, screen advertising, and theater rental revenue. Online ticket revenue per patron benefited as an increasingly higher percentage of our guests chose to reserve their seats and order food and beverage in advance, utilizing our industry-leading website and app. Screen advertising revenue also continued to increase during the course of 2021 as the box office improved, and we also benefited from revenue diversification initiatives, such as renting our theaters during off-peak times to businesses and government organizations for meetings and other events. In our domestic markets, revenue per patron in the fourth quarter was $20.46, up 24.5% from Q4 of 2019. This was driven by a 35% increase in food and beverage spend per patron, coupled with a 17% increase in average ticket price and a 40% increase in other revenue per patron. In our international markets, revenue per patron for the fourth quarter was $17.90, up 28% from 2019. This was driven by a 32% increase in food and beverage spend per patron, coupled with a 20% increase in average ticket price and a 55% increase in other revenue per patron. In an ongoing effort to enhance efficiency, we have been extremely deliberate in adjusting payroll hours and flexing show times to adjust to the market demand. For example, our Q4 attendance of 60 million guests represents 65% of Q4 2019's attendance, but 87% of Q4 2019's attendance per showing. This increase in attendance per showing enhances our efficiency and allows us to effectively manage cost pressures. Moving over to the balance sheet. We ended the quarter with a record year-end liquidity of $1.8 billion. This is comprised of $1.592 billion of cash and cash equivalents and $209 million of undrawn credit facilities. During the fourth quarter of 2021, we repaid approximately $61 million of deferred rent, reducing our deferred rent balance down to $315 million. In total, we have been able to reduce our deferred rent balance by approximately $155 million during the last 9 months of 2021. We expect to further reduce the deferred rent balance during 2022 by approximately $150 to $200 million. Looking closer at the balance sheet, and particularly our debt position, it is worth noting that last month we completed a highly successful capital raising. We issued $950 million of 7.5% first lien notes. As a result of this transaction, we were able to fully repay high interest debt that was raised at the height of the pandemic. The end result is a reduction in our annual interest expense by approximately $30 million, an extension of our debt maturities by between 3 and 4 years, as the new debt has a maturity date of 2029, and enhanced financial flexibility. Overall, this was a really terrific transaction for AMC, and we continue to actively pursue attractive opportunities to further strengthen our balance sheet, lower our interest costs, and increase our operating and strategic flexibility. Regarding capital allocation, we continue to pursue a balanced and disciplined approach to capital allocation. Our priorities remain unchanged. 1, ensuring that we have sufficient liquidity. 2, strengthening our balance sheet by reducing our debt and associated interest costs and extending maturities. 3, investing in our business to enhance the guest experience. And 4, opportunistically pursuing value-enhancing initiatives, including those that lead to diversification of our business. During 2020 and 2021, we focused our capital expenditures almost entirely on maintenance of the existing fleet. Net CapEx, including landlord contributions, was $130.2 million in 2020, and it was $70.4 million in 2021. Both of these are significantly less than in 2019, when CapEx included spend associated with the enhancement of our fleet, predominantly through seating upgrades. For 2022, separate and apart from any M&A activity, we expect CapEx to be in the range of $150 to $200 million as we begin to invest in the growth, enhancement, and extension of our business. As part of our ongoing efforts to optimize our theater portfolio, during the quarter we opened or added 3 new theaters and closed 5. So this brings the total number of locations permanently closed during the last 2 years to 83, and the total number of new locations opened to 30, for a net reduction of 53 locations. Both actions, closures and openings, serve to increase our adjusted EBITDA. Collectively, the older, somewhat tired theaters that we closed were money losers, while the beautiful new theaters that we are bringing into our system are expected to be extremely strong performers, positively impacting our overall profitability. Going forward, we'll continue to actively manage our portfolio, adding new high-performing locations and eliminating lower performers, all with the goal of improving guest satisfaction through improvements to the inherent quality and appeal of our fleet of theaters, as well as optimizing our overall profitability. The operating improvements and efficiency optimization initiatives implemented over the last 2 years have allowed us to nicely capitalize on the box office growth in the fourth quarter. We're very pleased with the results for Q4, but we are in no way complacent. As we begin 2022, we are still in a recovery phase, and we will continue to focus on revenue growth, efficiency, and enhancement initiatives to build our business and ensure our success in a post-COVID environment. And with that, I will pass the call back over to Adam.
Thank you, Sean. Before we open up this webcast to your questions, I'd like to update you on recent actions we've taken to enhance our business and highlight some strategic initiatives that will better position our company as we hurl into what we believe is a much more promising future for AMC. A strong current of innovation runs deep throughout AMC's DNA. We have led in the elevating of moviegoing to a truly unique and desirable out-of-home experience, and we set the standard for so many transformative changes in our industry. We'll continue to do so, but in 2022, 2023, and beyond, we also expect to transform our company into becoming something much greater than solely a movie theater operator. Let's quickly look at 7 of the initiatives and innovations already or soon to be underway. 1, NFTs. During Q4, AMC became the first theatrical exhibition company to collaborate with a studio partner to offer an exclusive non-fungible token, or NFT, to reward moviegoers for their AMC attendance. AMC worked closely with our partners at Sony to launch the Spider-Man NFT, and the success was undeniable. 86,000 NFTs were fully subscribed within hours, and ultimately, these NFTs have been sold on secondary markets, some of them that is, but some of them have been sold on secondary markets for as much as $17,000. No, you did not hear me wrong. $17,000 for a single Spider-Man NFT. By now, in just a few months from our first effort with Sony in November, we have already launched 4 separate NFT programs, one of which is supporting what is sure to be the new blockbuster movie, The Batman, which opens this week. In total, more than 800,000 NFTs have already been made eligible by AMC
Khalil.
for consumer collection in just three months or so. NFTs are not just interesting commemorative collectibles, but are also seen as drivers of attendance for AMC at our theaters and growth in box office revenues for our studio partners. We expect to continue, both jointly with studios and separately by ourselves on our own, to create future NFT offers to enhance the overall engagement with our guests. And importantly, in 22, we will look to further monetize some of what is now our nascent NFT activity. For example, selling some of these NFTs in addition to giving them away free, and getting a commission on the transfer of our NFTs when and if they're later resold. 2,
Hey guys, welcome to
cryptocurrency.
Windows 10 tutorial.
We continue to explore opportunities to both provide convenience and to create value for our guests through the use of cryptocurrencies. Last year being 2021, we introduced the capability to accept payments in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin using our website and mobile app. Later this month, in March, we will introduce the ability to transact and to make AMC online payments in Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. That on our website with mobile app functionality following a few weeks thereafter. We continue to explore how else AMC can participate in the burgeoning crypto universe, and we remain quite intrigued by the potential business opportunity. We've been looking for some time at potentially issuing our own cryptocurrency, but that will depend on how the regulatory frameworks surrounding cryptocurrency unfold. More to come if, as, and when we have something more concrete to share. As a side note, a benefit of our having to program cryptocurrency functionality for our website and mobile app, AMC also picked up the capability to accept Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal online. Incredibly, in just a few months, these latter 3 forms of payment, along with cryptocurrency, already constitute more than 15% of our online ticketing activity, as was seen in the fourth quarter of 2021. 3, variable pricing. A few years ago, at some of our U.S. theaters, AMC successfully raised weekend pricing above midweek levels. Currently, our prices for The Batman, which opens this week, are slightly higher than the prices we're charging for other movies playing in the same theaters at the same time. This is all quite novel in the United States, but actually AMC has been doing it for years in our European theaters. Indeed, in Europe, we charge a premium for the best seats in the house, as do just about all other sellers of tickets in other industries. Think sports events, concerts, and live theater, for example. That has not commonly been a practice heretofore in the United States. If you look at our year-over-year pricing success, as was demonstrated in the Q4 numbers, you will see that AMC has been a bold thinker in the area of pricing. One who is willing to take risks, and one who is willing to lead, and one who sees considerable upside opportunity for us ahead if we continue to be imaginative. 4, AMC Perfectly Popcorn.
Make sure that's turned on.
Our foray into the multi-billion-dollar popcorn industry during 2022 is on track. Remember, AMC knows something about popcorn. On a peak day, we sell 50 tons of the stuff. We plan to make our freshly popped popcorn available through food delivery to home services, allowing consumers to enjoy a slice of the AMC experience while entertaining at home. We also plan to sell to-go packages of popcorn at our theaters for takeout and or for pickup. Beginning later this year, we will begin selling freshly made real AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn and other movie treats at select mall retail locations around the United States. And I think the biggest opportunity here of all is that AMC is working actively on opportunity to offer prepackaged and or ready-to-pop microwavable AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn in supermarkets, in convenience stores, and in other food service venues around the country. As we recently announced, we recruited Ellen Kopakin to fill the newly created position of Vice President of Growth Strategy, where she will lead our initiatives related to the sale of popcorn outside the traditional in-theater channel and assist with other initiatives to broaden and transform our company. Ellen has an outstanding track record in brand management and innovation at PepsiCo, at Frito-Lay, and at Hostess Brands. And her skill set, combined with her significant grocery experience, will be a tremendous asset to us as we roll out our popcorn initiatives and explore other innovations in 22. Watch out, Orville Redenbacher, baby. A considerable competitor with a popcorn brand that truly resonates with consumers is on its way. 5, additional theater additions. That should have been additional theater locations. During 2021 and early in 2022, we acquired 7 high-profile and strategic theaters, including 6 former ArcLight Pacific theaters. That's about a third of their circuit, located in major metropolitan markets like Los Angeles, San Diego, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. Adding the magic of the AMC product and marketing strategies to existing high-profile theater locations has proven to be a winning formula. Our mid-2021 acquisitions of the Grove 14 and Americana at Brand 18, both former ArcLight Pacific theaters, both in the Los Angeles market, have, under AMC's leadership and management, both ranked among the 30 highest grossing movie theaters in the entire United States out of some 5,000 theaters in the country since joining the AMC family in midsummer. Theater landlords, real estate owners around the country recognize that AMC is a theater operator of choice, and we continue to be in active and constant discussions regarding potentially picking up additional highly attractive locations that can enhance our portfolio. Transition costs can be modest and often subsidized by landlords. Not always, but sometimes we find opportunity to pick up theaters at a mere 1 to 2 times projected EBITDA, even counting in and factoring in their transition costs. Similarly, we have looked at buying some or all of several smaller movie theater circuits. Now, some sellers have price expectations that make their approach to us dead on arrival. On the other hand, we are seeing other opportunities. We think we can grow our theater count attractively with quality theaters in strong potential markets and do so at 3 to 4 times our projected cash flows. These are bargain prices. We will continue to be highly disciplined in our approach, though, but put it all together, there is opportunity in them Nar Hills. Watch this space for more announcements as AMC continues to grow.
I'm just so pissed that my webcam is not working.
Next,
I don't know why.
a branded credit card. Some of you may have seen 2 completely voluntary and well-earned executive retirements announced yesterday afternoon, and that we are seamlessly backfilling these 2 very talented executives with superb individuals to carry our legacy forward. We'll have new leadership, highly experienced, already internal within the company, to run our U.S. theater operations. In addition, in choosing our new CMO, Elliot Hamlish of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, Starwood Hotels and Resorts, Deloitte Consulting, and American Express, not to mention an MBA from the Harvard Business School, we have someone bringing to his new AMC position considerable experience with co-branded
trying to search
credit
it on
cards. With
my
approximately
phone.
4 million shareholders
Could be the problem, but
and 25 million households in our AMC Stubs program, I think there is significant potential profitability for AMC if we launch our own co-branded credit card.
That's right, Freedom.
And that will become yet another high priority for AMC.
Now, I don't know about whatever price, but I just
you may recall that back in the early 1990s,
care about nobody setting any
I was the
floors.
chief marketing
Your
officer
price,
of United Airlines,
hold on to it,
and managed
and
its
exit right
co-branded
at it.
credit
That's
card
your opinion.
with what is now Chase.
No one has the
I've
right to
seen
tell you what your
firsthand
bracket should be.
the spectacular profitability that can accrue to a company that has a successful
Freedom, who's paying
co-branded
us that?
credit card launch. And finally, recovery, agility,
Yeah, Danette.
and
Next
transformation.
time.
These 3 words are the
I'm
mantra
still gonna search. It's not
for
gonna let me
AMC
go to
in
sleep
2022
at
and
night.
2023. As our 4th quarter results indicate, we continue to be in a state of recovery, and our focus remains on bringing to fruition a successful, full, and lasting recovery from the impact of the pandemic. At the same time, we realize that we will need to be agile to achieve that goal because, admittedly, our industry is in a time of robust change. But agility is something that we've demonstrated AMC is pretty good at. Let's just say that at AMC, we have steered this ship through the most uncharted of uncharted waters in the recent years. So we're not worried about the need for us to adapt our business model as we go forward to cope well as change unfolds around us. But some people following us look too narrowly. They think our aim is merely to bring back the company that existed back in 2019 pre-pandemic. And they look at the value of that company and project a fall in grace for us at AMC going forward. But I want to make very clear to everybody on this call, our ambition is much more grand than that. Our shareholders have armed us with $1.8 billion of year-ending liquidity, and there may be creative ways for us to raise even more money. I keep on getting offers from our shareholders, for example, that they want to chip in and help us pay down our debt. I don't know exactly that that's in the cards, but I do admire their passion and dedication.
I hope you don't bring out no questions about
they've shown it over and over
dropping some
and
shares
over again. Still, with $1.8 billion of cash and undrawn revolver at our disposal, that can be used to outlast this pandemic, to pay down debt,
Good.
to innovate within our core and related businesses,
Good.
and for transformative M&A. We encourage those of you who look at AMC to do so boldly, because within AMC, we are thinking boldly. Before turning the call over to Q&A, I would like to make a few specific observations about our enthusiastic and avid shareholder base. They really care about AMC, and they're not shy with their advice. Believe it or not, I tend to read a few thousand of their short comments on Twitter each week, and the feedback that we are getting has greatly helped me to run this company. It's greatly helped me to run their company. I'm also pleased that more than 615,000 individuals have self-identified as AMC shareholders in joining AMC Investor Connect, a program that we launched in the last days of June of 2021. It's our special communication and rewards program designed especially and only for our shareholders. Also in the fourth quarter of 2021, I personally hosted 2 sold-out early movie screenings for our shareholders in New York and Los Angeles. More such screenings that I personally host and personally attend will be planned around the country throughout 2022. At the LA screening back in December, one of our investors screamed from the audience, "We're not leaving," he said. And indeed, he appears to be right. Right now, there are several data sources to reconcile, but as best we can tell, we have about the same number of individual shareholders now as we had a year ago at this time, in the neighborhood of 4 million individual investors who care about AMC's future.
No one is selling. He's just
If you
reiterated
exclude index funds
what we were talking about
who
in
have
the
no
videos.
choice but to own and hold AMC shares, individual retail investors would seem to own more than 90% of our officially issued 516 million shares as of today. Indeed, as it is often said about AMC on Twitter, retail owns the float. Our shareholders ask me every day on Twitter, speaking of Twitter, to speculate about their theories on the trading of AMC stock, as well as on natural or unnatural pressures on it. Exactly as we said last July, we have no reliable information.
I don't want anybody
on
from
naked
their
shorting or
management
so-called
to keep
fake
selling.
shares or so-called synthetic
That is
shares.
true.
So, even as we are well aware of your thoughts, legally, we simply are unable to make any further public commentary on these topics. One thing that I'm particularly proud of, we kept our word to our shareholders in 2021. It is widely known that we are essentially out of more common shares that could be issued to the public in any quantity. Although a decade ago, our board did authorize the potential issuance of preferred shares if we so chose. Some of you were anxious about this whole topic. And so I gave you my word back in the early summer of 2021 that we would sit on the sidelines for the balance of the full year 2021 on the equity issuance, and that is exactly what we did. We kept our word. Some of you then speculated that we would rush to immediately issue new shares to the public early in January as the new year started. It is already March. Again, we have not done so. Retaining your support, leading your company smartly and well, keeping our word to you. These are extremely important to us. They're extremely important to me at AMC. That's the report. The fourth quarter was a spectacular one for AMC, the strongest in 2 years. Sean, let's now turn to questions. Starting with questions from our shareholders, I do hope we'll take some securities analyst questions as well.
Thank you, Adam. And the first question is, can you give us an update on the popcorn initiative?
Okay.
Sure.
So that was a little scary at the end.
As I said in my prepared remarks, we sold 50 tons of it on a good day. We know something about popcorn. Our brand has credibility and will have credibility in the market for people who buy and consume popcorn. So we're taking this initiative very seriously. I talked about hiring Ellen Kopaken, who's got substantial brand management and innovation experience at PepsiCo, at Frito-Lay, and at Hostess Brands. She's got a lot of grocery experience. She's already on board. She joined us in mid-February. She's in charge of this whole effort, among other projects, and we are going full bore. I expect that hopefully with Uber Eats, we will launch a food delivery program in the beginning as early as the second quarter of this year, depending upon which city you happen to be in. We'll roll it out around the country over the second and third quarters primarily, possibly the fourth quarter in some of our smaller markets. As for grocery, many of you may not know this, but grocery stores tend to restock their shelves twice a year, in February and in September. Obviously, February is behind us, so our goal is to catch the September reshelving efforts and to get AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn in a supermarket or convenience store near you.
He said that they have some that they could drop, and he didn't. He said that they didn't drop them in 2021.
Are there other food and beverage initiatives in the pipeline?
He said so far they haven't dropped them, but there is a possibility that they will drop them.
Absolutely.
So this is why I said it's a little scary toward the end.
As an innovator in F&B, and of the large theater operators,
this will be the biggest BS if they do that, because in 2021 they had the chance to sell all their shares as members,
part of it comes
including him toward the end of 2021. And then now, if they dilute the shares and add more shares, then the price will go down significantly, and then they would have made their profits already.
We constantly are putting specialty movie-themed drinks at our more than 350 bars around our U.S. theaters, themed to major movies that are coming out. But beyond that, some of you may recall that about 4 years ago, we launched something called Feature Fare, and we were way ahead of the competition in our view.
I just hope he's not preparing us with that last statement he made. He's not preparing us or marinating us for,
way back.
An idea of share dilution.
It was a challenge just to open our theaters, let alone to do it with a full-blown variety of menu items as we had when everything was going like a Swiss watch back in 2018 or so. Having said that, we're building back up in terms of menu variety and our concession stands and in our dine-in theaters. We're still challenged with labor shortages and supply chain disruptions. So we're picking and choosing very carefully what items we bring back into our theaters. We want to make sure that if we promise the guests a high-quality F&B experience, that the people who are working in our theaters can deliver it. Having said that, we certainly seem to be succeeding. Sean, as you said in your prepared remarks, our food and beverage sales per patron are up 35% year over year. That's a
theoretically
increase.
That would
I'm very proud of what our
give a narrative to delay.
Pulling off.
But you got to remember, this is why I
questions.
stress the importance of the FTDs. The failure to deliver are exactly where 90% of all the crime is at. Because right now, we've possibly bought billions and billions of shares of AMC. So even if they dilute the play and the shares by double or triple, that still would not make a difference if the FTDs are
alternative content is something that we are very intrigued
accounted for. But if the SEC and the government doesn't do anything about that, then at that point, why would anyone want to buy anything in the stock market in general? Like, I personally would just go ahead and leave the whole stock market altogether at that point, because you could literally, that's them telling you that we're going to sell you something, but we're not going to deliver it. Just give me money and I got you later. And that is not a way to invest, obviously. It's not professional and it's not legal.
Now,
So
in
I
IMAX
wouldn't
theaters
stress
around
on
the
that yet
country.
or anything
We've
because
we're showing some old movies.
the short
We
interest
just had a
and
very
all the
successful
FTDs that are against most of
reshowing
the
of
meme
the
stocks,
50th
especially AMC,
anniversary of The Godfather.
would still have to be
I think that was
accounted
in our
for
Dolby Cinemas.
before we can move,
And we've
toward
just
that whole
agreed
dilution
with Warner
and
Music
be in a very
to
fundamental
look
market.
really hard together at
So
which of
they
their
have to
concert
remove
artists we
all
can
the
bring
dirt before they can
to
go back to
AMC
fundamentals.
theaters. But the big kahuna here is sports rights. And we all know that if AMC is going to make a real splash in alternative content, if we can secure the rights for major professional and collegiate sporting events, not
I
to mention
agree.
these others
Same
like
here,
WWE and
Danette.
UFC,
I have to.
that
I hope that I'm
professional
correct
collegiate
because
sports
if they
is
don't
something that has great potential. It's much
do
easier
anything
said
about
than
the
done.
FTDs,
We have begun
then I
dialogue
don't
with
see
leagues,
how the new
There's a lot to
system
work
and the
out,
new service
but it's
that is
something that
going
we're
into
looking at
play,
hard.
the one that they call in Robot Godzilla, I don't know how
Next
that will be
question,
effective,
what is the
because
time
there's
frame
so
to
much
bring
in the
premium
background.
formats
If they
to the
just
regional
press to
theatre
delete it,
acquisitions?
then what happens to all the people that are holding those failure to deliver?
I'm so proud of the partnership that AMC has
You can't go and say
with IMAX
you don't
and that it
exist
has with
anymore.
Dolby Cinema.
Everybody have
We're
screenshots of their
IMAX's, I think,
positions.
largest customer
So
in the world outside of China.
this is more of just a
We're
scare
certainly their
tactic.
largest
For now, I would address it as a scare
partner here in
tactic
the United
to
States.
scare people, so
We have
that
an
when
exclusive
the price
relationship with
starts
Dolby
going
Cinema
up,
here in the United
people will be
States.
like, okay, let me get out before they start doing
We had
dilutions.
150 or so
But
PLFs.
like I said again,
5
all the
years ago,
FTDs have to be
AMC
accounted
globally
for. If they don't,
now has
then simply there's
over
just no more
400.
market. Like personally, for me speaking,
And
I will get
we
out of the
continue to
market
want to grow it.
and I will go as
We're in
far as
active
possible.
dialogue
And
with
it will probably be just
both
crypto
IMAX
for me at
and
that
Dolby
point.
right now. How we can grow
and
our business with each
we'll
of
see
those
how that goes.
great companies. I have every expectation that we are going to increase the number of our PLFs, and in the case of IMAX in particular, increase the number of laser-equipped IMAX auditoriums around the AMC system. One of the things that we've done as we've looked at bringing new theaters into our system is see if we can add PLFs to those theaters. And for example, the Grove and Americana Grand in LA, which already are the 30 highest grossing movie theaters in the United States, neither one is either an IMAX or a Dolby Cinema auditorium. We're going to put an IMAX and a Dolby Cinema and our house brand, which is called Private AMC. We're going to put 3 of them into the Grove, 3 of them into Americana Brand. We're looking at other theaters as well to see where we can add IMAX or Dolby locations. In terms of timing, and once you get permitted, it's kind of 6 to 12 months to get them constructed. Permitting can go fast or slow, depending upon the locality. So if I had to pick a date, I would say about a year after we add a theater to our network, we ought to be well underway with IMAX or Dolby or private AMC locations.
Great. The next question is, what are the plans to monetize the opportunity from NFTs and cryptocurrency?
Look, this is a big opportunity for us. As I said in my prepared remarks about NFTs, we've already done 4 programs since November. Already 800,000 NFTs have been made available to consumers. One with the Spider-Man movie, one with Dune, one with the Batman movie. We offered an I own AMC NFT
don't be sorry.
to our shareholders enrolled in AMC.
It's totally
Investor
fine.
Connect.
I actually enjoy this. I don't care how
This
many
is all
people
good
really
for us.
are here or
We
not.
intended to give them away free so far.
One
We
person
will continue to give some away free.
is literally like
especially
the
if that
beginning of
drives
so many.
a closer
So
bond
as far
with
as
the company, or if
cryptos,
it drives
I
attendance
did
to our theater,
have I was
where
in the
we'll make money selling
Dogecoin run up
tickets and
back in the
concessions.
early 2021.
But I also think it's
I was in it
possible
since 2020.
for good and important and
I did
special
invest in
NFTs
SHIB.
to sell
I
them to
did
the public.
hold that Elon.
And I also know for a
the
fact
other basically
that on some of these NFT
Dogecoin.
programs, we
Because
already
it's
are
just so
and will
cheap.
be on future
The
programs
thing is,
collecting a commission on the
they're
resale
working
of those
on
NFTs
like
as they
passing
get
so many
resold.
regulations to
As for
regulate crypto,
cryptocurrency,
and
we're
because of
taking
that
it
happening,
now
I
We start with
expect
Dogecoin
a
and Shiba Inu
big
in a couple
drop,
of weeks.
like a correction in
We know there are a
cryptos
lot of consumers
at some
who are
point,
very
and that's
keen
when my
on those cryptocurrencies.
entry point will be.
We
Now, I
expect
do
that our
believe
market share
100% in
amongst that
crypto. I mean,
audience
that's
will
the
grow
future.
when we can take
But I
cryptocurrencies.
have to see
In addition to
what they
that,
pass
the one that
for
you know
these
well,
for
Sean,
these, so
because
that
we've
I could
talked
go
about it at great
ahead
length.
and
The one that has our biggest intrigue
1 second.
is whether AMC would be capable of issuing
1 second.
our own
Let me stop
coin,
this
our own
guy
cryptocurrency.
speaking in the background, so I can, because he's speaking in my
We have to
background,
be
and I'm
careful
like,
how we
what
do
is
that.
being said?
The regulatory framework surrounding cryptocurrency is going to change dramatically, I think.
Okay, good. Okay, now this is much better. Now I'm not like hearing somebody speaking in the background, and I think all the good stuff has been said anyways. So yeah, so like the cryptos are, with all these regulations that are going to be passed and how they choose to tax it and how they choose to regulate it, that is going to play a big part in where the correction plays, and I do believe, obviously, once our plays like AMC and the meme stocks, when they squeeze, the cryptos are going to be very volatile at that time. We're going to see them obviously not going up. I personally think, that they're going to go down majorly, because you're not going to have so much money going in there, because all the money is being fleeced out toward the meme stock that is squeezing, whether it's all of them at the same time or AMC alone first, or whatsoever. So I would say crypto, I hold off on it for now. I sold most of my things when the major run-ups happened, and now it's too volatile to go in. I mean, you can see it. And all those coins every week or every other day, they're literally going down like 10-11% or going up the same amount. So it's a very good time for scalping. So if I would to go into crypto, I would go in to scalp and then leave, on the right amount. Just make my quick percent and leave, especially if you have a good amount of capital to walk in with. But you have to know your entry and your exit points really well, because that's gonna be dictating a lot. And yes, Jason, same thing. See, it's very scary to go long on something right now, not knowing where it could drop or where it could be heading to. Now, if you do have so much conviction about your cryptos, because again, everybody is different, or you got in at a very, very, very cheap price a long time ago or anything, then you got nothing to worry about, because at the end of the day, the end game is all these cryptos are the future. Then you're good. But if you're trying to get in right now, this is kind of like crossing that river that is filled with alligators, and you're like, I hope none of them see me or catch me, and end up in a roll of death. So that's just my output on how the crypto market right now is, and it's just entry point wise is very stressful, because you just don't know if it's going to be you're entering right now and then it starts dropping crazy, and you're like, okay, and then the meme stocks are going up, and now you're going to be holding a big bag with cryptos until they go back up again. I'm like searching on my phone, like how what could be the issue with this whole live stream, like webcam. You're welcome anytime. We're all family now, so we should. I have some funny stories to share with you guys. Some crazy stories that are like one in a gazillion years possibility for those stories to happen. That I definitely would love to share, but in live, because when webcam is working, then then you guys can see the person that is speaking, not just speaking on a radio chat. It's similar to like this is so crazy. Thank you, Jason. Take care, brother. yeah, this is the crazy part. I don't have much to do yet. Might have to get out in like the next 10 and 15 minutes. Danette, if you have any questions, go ahead, put them in. Don't think twice about it or anything, you know? What cryptos are you holding? I've put in my previous videos before, um, the cryptos, even after the correction happens, the cryptos that I personally think are like the safest to be in will be just, for example, just two. And oh, there you go. Two of them are in your portfolio already, the Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP has the biggest potential out of those two because of where the price point is for it. But it still has that all the legalities and everything on it. So it's in the air right now, but I see that one. ADA Cardano is pretty huge. Selena, Gala is making huge strides. If you go and like kind of look at, just go view that the like the layout of that coin and what they're about, you can see the big potential, because basically that is they're in an industry of all those phone games, which almost everybody's on their phone these days. You know, all those animation games like Supercell or stuff like that, like that. Yes, there you go. Gala is very good, and I'm anticipating a big drop in that one before I go into it, because I see a future for that game, for that coin, and that one will be something that I will be jumping in, including, like I said, Bitcoin, Ethereum. When the correction happens, ADA is already in a correction form. It's valued at way more than where it is at now. Um, the only thing is that Ethereum is beating it out because it has, a lot of companies already adopted it. So that one, you don't have to worry about it, seeing it going nowhere. Ethereum has most of the NFT, if not all the NFTs market is throughout on the Ethereum blockchain. So, that's something that's just not going to go nowhere. The NFT market is just getting bigger and bigger. Um, Bitcoin, like I said, it's always going to be like the standard. It will probably ultimately just be used as the universal market, like a world currency, that if you are in whatever country, Bitcoin will be like the new kind of dollar of these days, where you could take a dollar anywhere in the world and, just get it spent and or converted. Bitcoin will be just the ultimate easiest currency, that anywhere you are, you could just get a Bitcoin, spent and use Bitcoin. Um, so that one basically kind of answers that. I'm just waiting for it to have a very, very, very wild drop or correction, which it have done many times in the past before I go in. Because believe it or not, yes, we're not near the all-time high, which was in the 60s, but we're also not near the all-time lows. So we need to, for me, my entry points will probably be somewhere around in the 20s, or hopefully even less if it drops. I know for your sake, you don't want to see it go down to that point because you're already in. But what goes up must go down, and what goes down must go up as well. Especially if it has a very, very high potential. And those three you put up there have very huge potential. And like the most obviously is XRP, because from a price point, it's what still in under a dollar. Um, it could easily see the $400, $500, $800 range, without any sweat, in my opinion. Obviously, humble opinion. Where are you from, Danette? That's the spirit. Nice. I've had I remember back in high school. Oh, yeah, okay. What part of the U.S.? Um, so as a kid, as far as for me, I'm originally my parents are from Jordan. I was born in Jordan, but Jordan in the Middle East, and then we moved. Uh, we moved back when I was 8 years old, all the way here, and we were in New York. Then my dad was like, he's a heavy cigarette smoker, unfortunately, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move the whole family over to somewhere where it's cheap. And obviously, the closest was Kentucky because that's where cigarettes are cheapest. So we moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, which is right over the bridge from, going to get Kentucky cigarettes and, whatever. And, been in Cincinnati, Ohio ever since. I've traveled a lot throughout in the US. I stopped through San Diego. It was very, very, very beautiful, which I see that's where you're from. You chose wisely. LA, a lot, Florida, all over Florida, Clearwater, Miami, um, you know, everything is amazing in this country. But I remember when we moved here as a kid, it was just a crazy story. Like, I can't wait till I can get the webcam to work so that I could go ahead and share that. Some of those stories, especially the story of why we moved from Jordan over to the US. Crazy, crazy story. Like, I'm telling you, it's a story that's like a movie, um, because it literally is like a movie, like a crazy movie. But I'll hold on to that story until we could get the live webcam going, and then that way more people can come see it. Because I saw today, some people wanted to access, like they literally just came in and left because they didn't see a picture. They just see that, um, whatever that circle is, that blade in the middle of the screen. For sure, for sure. I'll definitely get it done. In fact, as soon as I get out of this, that's what I will be, you know, um, checking. And the problem is, I don't want to like make like 20 live videos trying to test out if the picture works or not. But hey, why not? It will get more clicks from you guys. Thank you, Danette. You are an amazing person, and obviously I look at it as we're family now. So, um, I appreciate you following. I appreciate all the questions and the comments. Actually, I appreciate the talk. Um, we will we will go ahead and jingle and mingle later at another time. I'm gonna go ahead and try to test out this stuff and try to make it work because I have to be able, like, you guys have to be able to see me while this is happening. I don't want to just keep making videos and uploading them, and then people will look at the time. It's like what the title is. Oh, some random guy is speaking about his story of why he moved to the US or why his family moved to the US. I'm pretty sure that one will get a lot of views. You too, Danette. Thank you so much again. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Um, in the future when you yeah, I could totally see that. You are definitely patient. I have to be as well. Um, it's so crazy. Like, I guess in the future when there's like hundreds and thousands of viewers, I guess at the same time, you'll be the first option for first option for having a moderator. It's so crazy that today I know I said we're leaving, but uh final thing I was gonna put was like, it's so crazy that when I was on this call and like this live chat, um, my employees at the restaurant called me. I have a Greek restaurant in a mall. Who knows? I probably would be the worst moderator. I'll be the worst live chatter. Look at it. You can't even see me. But I'm definitely the worst live chatter. But but yeah, so they called me and they were like, "Hey, the electric box just made some like sparks." And I was like, what do you mean in the text messages? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, is the electricity still working? They were like, some. So I was like, okay, contact the mall. And as soon as I get out of this live, I'll head over to the mall and check and see what, how bad the damage and how much it will cost. uh, All right. Well, I won't hold you up any longer. So have a great rest of your night. I might come back later for some works. If I definitely get this webcam working, I might go live later on tonight, um, just to celebrate the win of being able to go live. If not, then, I'll see you when I see you. Peace out, my friend. Much love.